everyone. Happy Friday. I'm so excited to bring to you Isai Cortez. Isai, he is an attorney. He is also an adjunct professor, firm owner who specializes in the tax controversy area, and the founder of Thynk Books. So thank you so much, Isai, for joining us today. If you want to give the group a little bit of background on your history, I'm sure they are very fascinated to hear it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Katie. Thank you for having me on. So my name is Isai Bismark Cortez. I am a tax attorney here in Los Angeles, California. I went to law school at Penn State, and I have a master's of law from UCLA School of Law. My main focus is in tax controversy. So basically what I deal with is I deal with people that have tax problems, right? And so a big part of my career has been someone gets audited or someone owes collection issues. And so we basically are the middle person in between you and the IRS or our government state agency. So think of your sales tax department or your state tax collecting department. So we basically work with those agencies.
Very neat. So how did you then get involved in developing software?
That's a really good question, right? So, I think that's how you and I connected, basically just like geeking out on tax stuff, right? And technology as well. And essentially, there was a main problem that I saw all the time in the clients that I represented. So let's say, for example, I'm representing a small business, right? And, let's think of Bob's Burger, right? Because it's easy to imagine the mom and the dad working at a restaurant. Like they maybe are generating $800K a year in gross receipts, but they're walking away with like 70, right? So, they're at the restaurant all day, right? And so a common thing is even if they had a bookkeeper, I'll say this, with CPAs, this happens less often, but let's say with a bookkeeper who's not maybe licensed, the issue would be, on your profit and loss, you had, let's say 400K of cost of goods sold, but on your tax return, you had 600K of cost of goods sold. So then I would ask the client like, hey, what happened? And they would say, ask the bookkeeper, hey, bookkeeper, just wondering what happened. And they say, I don't know, ask the client, right? So all of a sudden, nobody knows where the numbers on the tax return came from. The tax preparer, even if they're a CPA, they're like, I don't know, somebody gave me this, I just put it on here, right? And so it was a common problem. So what I said is, I want to develop something that works with the IRS. So what I would have to do quite often is I would basically have to recreate some of the books, right? And so I would have to match up the tax return to the accounting. So if you got 600K of cost of goods sold on your tax return, I would have to have a ledger that showed how you came up with that 600K. So what I did is I reverse engineered the way the bookkeeping system works. Now it's not GAAP accounting, right? So I just want to be clear about that. What I did is I fragmented the ledger. So, and I'll show you later with my software, we fragment the ledger to match your tax return. So as you're doing your bookkeeping, you're slowly also pre-populating your tax return. That's something that there's no system that does that right now. It's, general ledger, your P&L, and then your tax return. Mine is sort of tax return, fragmented ledger, allocates to the tax return and a P&L. So the P&L and the tax return can pivot back and forth and they'll be almost matching.
Wow. So did you ever envision yourself developing software whenever you first started out?
No, I just wanted to help people. It's kind of a cool job to like fight the man, right? We're fighting, like everyone's scared of the IRS or the government. And I'm the little guy on the floor fighting them, fighting the Goliath. So it's kind of a cool thing. But I said to myself, like, gosh, this is such a recurring problem, right? Like, how do I help the little guy have some, additional resources to help them, right? And this is crazy because sometimes people are actually paying someone to help them. And once I show up, gosh, it's so often that the people helping them just disappear because they don't want to. I'm asking them very tough questions like, how did you do this? How did you do that? And they're like, I don't know. And then they stop, like the kids say, they ghost me, right? Like, right. I can't get a response from them because they know that they messed up, And so my thing is like, if I can help small businesses on a grander scheme, I'd love to do it.
Wow, I love your story because you've really done so much and you continue to do. And I think that would be something that everyone would be dying to ask you, how do you balance having so much going on? Because I know you also have children and a
Yeah.
wife.
So I'll tell you, like, here's my day. Wake up at 4 a.m. Learn how to do a little bit of coding just for fun. Read tax for fun. Eat breakfast. Get to work. I get to work around 6:45, and I'm sitting in front of my computer. So I go to work early, but I also leave earlier. I do my work, and then if I'm either doing my teaching or I'm doing my office. Technology, guys, I mean, for anybody who, you could feel free to DM me or message me. Like, I use so much technology where every time I've had an employee like quit, instead of hiring someone new, I just found a new piece of technology. And that's the world we're living in. And I keep saying that to people, like, gosh, technology is insanely just moving so fast, And so, I use technology to help me with my business. And then I go home, I get home around 3:34, put all the stuff away, play with my daughter from 4 to 7. I'm the one who gives her a bath, and then I have my son as well. And so I make sure to spend time with them, have dinner with them. And then once, they go to sleep, I spend another hour doing some work or, whatever. I go to sleep at 8:30, 9 o'clock and do it again, So that's basically my day. So it's great. It's great. I love it.
Well, you can tell that you're very passionate about what you do. So I wanted to go back to ThynkBooks.
Yep.
And the buzzword AI, how does AI play into ThynkBooks?
Great question. So basically what we did is we use what's called machine learning vector. And it's the data scientists that worked on my software, they were like, dude, this is like perfect. They were like, this is perfect because this is actually like it's not super complicated. It's not like, trying to pinpoint where you're going to click next on, which is highly sophisticated, with the clickbaits and stuff like that. It's really sophisticated. This is more like, what do the humans do, right? Like, like, if we help 5 burger shops, then we probably help the next 5,000, right? Because people do the same thing, right? We're just humans, right? And so the machine learning vector starts to match, like let's say from the ledger, from the bank statements, like if it says Google advertising, it knows it's advertising, right? If it shows United, it knows it's potentially travel, so on and so forth. So as the AI starts to learn what it is, then it can start to categorize a little bit better, And so the objective of my software is, like, whether you're a bookkeeper or you're the end user who's going to be doing this, is that it streamlines the process for you, right? And so I've also minimized the categories that you can select. And that's why that data scientists like it more, because it's not like hundreds of categories that it's got to figure out. It's the ones that are on your tax return. And yes, there's subcategories that will probably be the bigger amount, but even within that, it's still limited. You know what I'm saying? And so that is what really helps out quite a bit. And then, I haven't retrained the model in a little bit, but we can just keep retraining the model and just getting it better and better,
So that's what I think is so cool about your software, is as there are more and more users using it, it just continues to improve over time.
Yep.
And I know you've shown it to me and shown me how it can just take a ton of transactions and instantly code them to the correct category on the tax return, which is huge, whether you're a bookkeeper, like you said, trying to clean up someone's books, or you are someone who owns the hamburger shop and need to get caught up on bookkeeping. So
and so one thing I wanted to say is, yesterday I had a meeting with a bookkeeper. He's a CPA, but he does bookkeeping as well. And he tells me what he does, right, for the client. And I never ever want to ever diss a CPA. And I always want to be clear, like, if you like QuickBooks or FreshBooks or any of those other ones, cool. I'm be happy with them. I can't compete with them. I don't have a bottomless war chest. My software is geared for a certain client, under 5 million, cash basis, books to tax, right? So, the gentleman was sharing all the things that he does for his client. And I always ask this question. I'm like, how many times has your client ever sat down and wanted you to explain that? And he's like, never, right? Because the clients care about 3 things in my experience. how much money did I make? Where did my money go? And how much do I owe, right? And you can probably still charge the same exact fee, only giving them those three things. That's my opinion. And I think that I'm correct, you know? If they want all the additional stuff, that can be an add-on. But I told my buddy yesterday, you could probably have 10x more clients and charge the same rate and do it faster, easier. And basically also, if you don't even file their taxes, you can add that as an additional upsell. Hey, you know what? I'll just do your taxes because it's already almost done, right? So, yeah.
So what would you say the future of book to tax is, especially considering the power of your software?
You know, I've shared this with some people in the industry, and everyone's always like, huh, like, how come that doesn't exist? And it doesn't exist because the big players do it the way that, you know, accounting. And I'm saying like, okay, so just so you understand, my method, which is a method, I litigated that method with the IRS, right? And no one's ever been like, this is not the way you're supposed to do it, right? Because I'm litigating a very nuanced people, under 5 million, cash basis, right? So GAAP accounting isn't necessarily required in that arena, right? And so I think like the easier you make it, the more people you can help, you know, even though the big player owns like, well, I think they're at 12, 13% of the market, that means there's still a lot of people not using software yet, right? And so I think there's still an opportunity for more people to come in and do something great, you know? And so I would love this to be just like one seamless thing. Do your books. At the end of the year, your taxes are almost already done. Move forward, file your taxes, move on, you know? Because remember, my job is controvery, right? So I deal when people are like, oh, I haven't filed my taxes for like 5 years and now they're coming after me. And I'm like, reason why you didn't do it? And they're like, just too complicated or whatever, you know? I just want to help people, you know? That's the bottom line, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, even speaking from experience as a CPA, I personally don't enjoy doing my own bookkeeping. So I need to utilize a software like yours that can do a lot of that work for me. And I mean, it's not because I don't even have the knowledge like a lot of people out there. I just simply, it's not on my priority list of things that I'm excited
Exactly.
to do. So
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool, Isai, if you could actually do a little demo of Thynk
Sure.
Books for everyone watching.
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen. Let me know if you can see it.
Perfect.
Nice. Cool. Okay, awesome. So this is the website. Luckily I got a new landing page coming soon. So hopefully it's a little bit cooler than this one. You basically, when someone wants to come on board, they're going to sign up, right? So they're going to go through the process of signing up. And so I have one that's already kind of been started. So you sign up, you get an email that you verify the email, and then you move forward to the next part. So let's move forward to the next part. So my software will fragment the ledger from the beginning, right? So here are the different, we're targeting 5 different filings at this point, right? So it's possible to do more, but again, I'm making my product very niche. Like I'm coming after small businesses. That's it. Like it's not for trust. It's not for nonprofits. Not today. Perhaps I could do it later, but this is what I am in. I'm not going to use the word expert because as a lawyer, I'm not allowed to, but I have a lot of experience litigating. I have thousands of hours litigating these kind of cases. So this is what I'm really good at, right? And so for the novice, you know, I basically went off the government's website and gave a description of what each one of these forms is, right? And so if someone wants to know why we're doing this, this is where we fragment the ledger, you know? And so we make it match the tax return. So let's say here, we select S Corp, and then here you're gonna select what kind of a business are you, right? So for me, I'm a lawyer. So I would say lawyer over here, and then you can add an additional detail if you want, tax attorney, and then you go on to the next one. And then you would add your bank account, right? So we use Plaid, and I believe Venmo uses Plaid as well. So it's a very secure API. We don't store your password. I just very clear with people. We don't save any of your password information. This is an API that just allows us access. It gives us a token, so that way we can access and download your transactions. Like I don't know how to transfer money. None of that stuff happens here, right? This is just it's just a read. give me your information, right? So then we do that. So I'm gonna log out of this one, and then I'm gonna go into one that's already been downloaded. So this is basically what the dashboard looks like. And as you can see here, the AI is using something that it perhaps may know or may not know, right? So there's a little thing here that tells you how many transactions you need to get to zero. So the objective is to get to zero, right? So here it tells you how much income has come in, what your expenses are. This is a year to date. This is just a credit card, so that's why it's negative, but hopefully you don't want to be negative. But so this is just one credit card that we put in here. So it just shows all the expenses. And I created a filter that makes this super, super easy, right? So here's a filter. So let's just go off the expenses. So now you're only going to be looking at the expense side, right? So you can look at things like this, right? So Uber, right? So there's an Uber here. And if you see that this, we categorized these the other day, but it selects like what basically it is, right? So it guesses Uber's travel. So let's look at some other ones that have not been categorized. So let's see. So this shows a fax machine or my fax, and it assumes it's a utility, right? Which is accurate, right? It looks at mail and assumes it's a shipping thing, right? And then I'll explain to you guys about the categories. So how do you select the categories? These are the categories that go on the 1120S, right? So as you're selecting your categories, they are going to match your actual tax return, right? So this is your profit and loss, right? So everything here, you can see, you know, your rents, meals, dues and subscriptions, right? Whatever. This is, some of the things have been guessed and some of the things have been categorized. This is mainly all guessing. So this is maybe not accurate, but you would have to go in there and you would have to categorize them, right? So, and I'll go back to that in a second. So here's the cool thing, right? So this is your P&L, and then we pre-populate your tax return. So that way you have basically a almost ready to go tax return, and you can just basically put that into your 1120S that you're about to file. Hopefully down the road, we can just have a little button here where you can just continue to file your tax return. That would be neat, right? And so I'm gonna take you back to the dashboard here really quick. So a really cool thing that we have here, like let's say United, right? So let's go on the expense, right? You can actually do like mass and categorize them all in masses. You can do up to 60 right now, but you can do mass. So if you have something that's very common and you need to do a bunch of them, you can just categorize them there, all like 60 at once. So it makes things faster. It's easier to move. I did a video, I have it somewhere, maybe down here. We did like 3,000 transactions in about 40 minutes, which, you know, it's a lot, but we're just cleaning up just for the sake of training the model and just learning. But using this sort of a dashboard just had things moving a lot faster, right? One of the other things that maybe not yet, but I just wanted to share while we're here. One of the other ladies that posted on the LinkedIn about like accounting version, like a pro version. This is sort of what it's going to start to look like. I think I shared this with you a while ago. But this is going to be like, this is Anna, she's the accountant, and these are all of Anna's clients right here. And these are the people that are asking permission from Anna or want Anna to be their bookkeeper. So basically the client would be somewhere here, and the client would be giving Anna permission to do their bookkeeping. So that's something that's coming in the future.
That's awesome. So helpful for those who are accountants to be able to see all of their clients in one location.
Yep.
Very neat. So Isai, if someone wants to sign up for Thynk Books, is the best place for them to go just to your website?
Yeah, so this is the development website, but you just go to thinkbooks.com. Yeah.
Perfect. And I'll be sure to leave all of these links in the description so anyone can access them. And what about if they want to find you? What's the best way for them to contact you?
Honestly, just email me at info@taxlabinc.com. Info@taxlabinc.com. Like, I'm happy to walk. Like, there's an app that I use. It's called Superhuman. It's like an email app. And what I found really neat about it, you're like, why do you need an email app if you already have Gmail? They have made, like, that's one of the apps I use that makes my life move fast. And they help you get through your emails faster. And so I really model a lot of their stuff because that's my objective, is to get you through this faster, right? To get you through the bookkeeping process faster. My point behind that is that when I signed up with them, they gave me a 30-minute demo on how to use their app. It was crazy, like a human thing. And for me, I'm willing to do the same thing. So if you're signing up with my software, I'll walk you through the software and I can help you, And I think the more people that sign up, even if you sign up for the free trial, give me your feedback, because there's things I don't see, I'm so like here, right? And just like, it works for me, but it may not work for someone else. And as you find more bugs or you find different things that you didn't foresee, it is so helpful for people to sign up and just give me their feedback. It's worth it, it's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we finish today, I'd love to hear some of your favorite apps. Of course, ThynkBooks, and you mentioned Superhuman. Are there any others that you recommend in order to become more productive?
Right. So the apps I use right now are Superhuman. For my practice, it's something called Call and Queue. It just sort of helps you get through the IRS a little bit faster. And then I use Auto Entry. I think they just got acquired by Sage, so good for them. Auto Entry really helps me with my basically the clients that just come to me with a bunch of bank statements. It literally has cut down the time. That's why I'm saying I don't even need additional staff. I can just do it myself. I can just scan, upload it, and then get it going. So those are ones that really help me. I'm trying to think of what else. That's those three move the best.
How do you manage all of your tasks?
I have an office person.
Okay.
That I have two office people that work with me. One's more of an accountant and the other one's just office person. That really helps me. Using Slack, and Slack is really good as well. And calendars, right? Calendars really help. But it's really tough to balance, but it's all doable. Mm-hmm.
Well, you make it seem very easy to manage. You have a lot going on, but
I have a lot going on.
I'm really excited about. I think that it's going to help out a lot of small business owners. It already has, and continue to help them, as well as the bookkeepers and the accountants. It's super awesome software. So like I said, I'll link everything down in the description below so people can figure out how to sign up for that free trial, how to contact you, and ensure that they're not just watching this awesome video and wondering, how can I sign up and use it? But thank you, Isai, so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's awesome to have you on here. So thank you all who are watching, and be sure to check out ThynkBooks.
Bye-bye.